So right now I am actively trying to put on as much weight as possible. So for me, a cheat meal is actually a really good thing. So I have cheat meals all the time, to the point where I can't even call them cheat meals. They're just really meals.
All right, we're taking a look today at Tom Holland to see what his diet is like. Movie star, good shape, someone you could aspire to be like, because unlike all the other superheroes, he doesn't look like he's roided out like crazy. We read a long time ago when he interviewed for Spider-Man, he actually did gymnastics and stuff, so he's a really fit, athletic guy already. And he doesn't look like someone who isn't natural. So let's take a look at what he says about diet and if there's anything we can take away as far as if it makes sense or not, because a lot of times these men's health videos are kind of silly when it comes to these guys' diets.
My philosophy behind my diet is that my diet is far more important than what I do in the gym. I would say for me to see results, it's 80% diet and 20% fitness.
That depends on what your goal is. If you're wanting to lose weight and get cut, yeah, it's gonna be 80% diet. But if you're actually wanting to build muscle, it's a lot of both, because you're gonna have to train hard. You gotta know how to train, like typically trying to hit all your muscles twice a week, 10 to 20 sets per week, but also eating enough protein to build muscle, also having enough calories to build muscle, not trying to cut down while you're trying to build muscle, even maintaining your body weight. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And kind of going back as well with what he said with the cheat meals, trying to eat as much as you can. You don't need to just eat as much as you can to build muscle. Yeah, you need to have enough calories to gain that weight, but if you eat a ton and put on like 6 pounds in a month, most of that's gonna be fat, especially if you're natural like this guy. You're not gonna be putting on tons of muscle naturally. You're gonna be putting on fat and a little bit of muscle. So keep that in mind.
Be strict and healthy. I travel a lot, so I find it really difficult to get into a routine of cooking for myself. But yeah, so dieting, I wouldn't call it dieting, but eating healthy is a big part of me staying in shape. I'm always trying to have a healthy amount of vegetables. And when I say healthy, I just mean a lot.
Veggies are a great way to fill yourself up, especially if you're dieting, because they don't have a lot of calories and they're very voluminous foods, low calorie foods, they're dense, they fill you up. Especially if you're going into something like a bodybuilding show and you're getting really hungry, just eating extra vegetables can really help with that. Speaking of bodybuilding shows, if you don't know yet, I'm hosting what's called the CamFit VIP competition. That's virtual international physique, meaning it is an all virtual show, all online. You can compete from home. I have Greg Doucette, who's gonna be there as the head judge for the final round. I've got a video explaining it. I'll have linked in the description or one of the cards. You can check it out, or go to camberfitness.com. It'll explain everything. We have $5,000 cash prize for the winner, other cash prizes, and equipment from brands like RitFit, Evolve Pal, a lot of stuff. It's gonna be exciting. So if you're into bodybuilding, you wanna try competing, it's a great one to start with because you could actually win money versus going to a normal show where you just spend a bunch and get a medal.
Typically for breakfast, I will have a bowl of porridge with a bunch of fruit and nuts, accompanied with a shake. The reason I do that is I like to get up early and I like to get the day started. And if I have to cook something, I feel like it really slows down the day. The berries give me a bunch of fiber, the nuts give me the fats that I need, and that I feel like sets me up for a great day. The carbs from the oats give me that nice long-lasting energy. So that'll be that.
So you said the carbs, the fiber, the fats, that's all good, but what about the protein? I'm guessing the shake has protein in it because you gotta get the protein in you. Ideally, you wanna be eating equal amounts of protein throughout your day. If you're eating 4 meals, for me, I'm gonna wanna get like 40 to 50 grams of protein in each meal. If I'm having 5, then I'll take it down a little bit, but I'm shooting for my body weight in grams of protein per day. It's really important you do that if you're wanting to build muscle or if you're cutting down because you wanna maintain the muscle you have while you're getting cut.
Typically, if I am not bulking, I'll skip lunch. I very, very rarely will eat lunch. And then for dinner, I'm so lucky. My brother Sam is a really talented chef. Every night, I'm going over to my brother Sam's house and eat.
So skipping lunch, I wouldn't suggest that again. Getting equal amounts of protein on average if you can throughout the day, just little bits. One thing I don't like about it, if most people may not be like him that are already smaller, maybe don't need as much food, but if you're trying to stay lean, it's ideal to not feel really hungry when you go into dinner time. If you eat a breakfast and go all day before eating again, it can be easy to start binging. So I don't really suggest doing that. It works for him, may not work for you.
Eating whatever it is that he's been cooking, which can range from sticky bao buns to a traditional roast dinner to, you know, a chicken Veronique. So it's very, very fun stuff. So that's what I've been doing recently. My default setting of my body is that if I don't train and eat, I lose weight. I have to really consciously think about maintaining size. So for me, a cheat meal is actually a really good thing. And yeah, I'm a sucker for an In-N-Out burger.
So He's naturally lean. He's someone that's harder to put on weight. That may be your case. Eat more fats, which, you know, he said he has fats. That can help with bulking because fats have 9 calories per gram versus protein and carbs are 4 calories per gram. So you throw in some fats, you'll gain weight quicker if you're having trouble getting down enough calories to actually put on weight. But he's naturally leaner. That's probably not most people's problems. You know, some people are blessed.
I go for a double with raw onions. I don't like their fries. I don't understand why their fries taste like cardboard.
I don't know if I've ever had In-N-Out burger. Let me know in the comments if you like it.
Doubles with raw onions. That's my order, yeah. I take supplements depending on my fitness
Ooh,
goals.
supplements. Let's see if he's taking what Thor's taking.
So
And why is he sitting around a bunch of old tires?
right now I'm on a pretty steady flow of creatine and protein. I also take a protein shake in the morning, which is filled with all the minerals and vitamins that you need to.
Vitamins, there we go. So he just confirmed that. He's got the protein in the shake in the morning, steady stream of protein, so that's good to hear. Maybe he's having protein bars. You know, he's talking about the meals he's having. So maybe he doesn't have lunch, but he has some protein bars or another protein shake. He doesn't consider that a meal. Creatine, about 5 grams every day, minimum for most people, 5 to 10 grams, and you're gonna be good. It saturates the muscles, makes them hold more water, not under the skin, but in the muscle, and that makes you stronger when you're lifting weights. So creatine's a good thing to have. It's naturally occurring in meats, but not enough, unless maybe you're having a carnivore diet, to where you're getting enough where it makes a difference.
To be living a healthy lifestyle. Yeah, that's kind of about it right now.
So there, I mean, I would believe that he's just taking those things. He doesn't look like he's jacked up on steroids like you see Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans, a lot of these massive guys, especially in the Thor Love and Thunder. Chris Hemsworth was huge and he was obviously taking some juice. And the same thing with Hugh Jackman. Of course, they go on these type of interviews and they're like, oh, I just ate so much chicken and so much rice. And I would train 2 times a day for 2 hours each session. And that's what it took to get jacked. They don't say what they're taking. And the funny thing is, Tom Holland, I believe he's like 28. And look at him next to Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead is a year older than him. And Tom Holland still looks like a kid. He looks very youthful. Whereas Chris Bumstead looks like he could be, you know, pushing 40. Like, steroids are going to age you. So keep that in mind. If you're wanting to go enhanced PD route, it's gonna start making you look older quicker. So if you wanna age quicker, you know, there you go. But if you wanna keep that youthful look like Tom, maybe stick with just the creatine and the protein powders.
I did a film called Uncharted. I just pedal to the metal, went as crazy as I could in the gym and in the kitchen, and got to the heaviest I've ever been, which isn't that heavy, to be honest. Like, by my standards, it is. And it was really cool. I felt really strong. I felt like I had a lot of power within me. So that was a drastic change. Spider-Man 3, Jack, who's a mate of mine, and Duffy, who is our trainer, we just really got into...
So you look at that physique there, Spider-Man 3, so he's got into CrossFit, doing all that. He looks natural. He's not overly lean. You can see the outline of some abs. He's defined enough to look aesthetic. And you know, this is the kind of physique that you could shoot for to look good. I think most guys with hard training and knowing how to diet right can actually look the way he does. Not to dog on him saying he doesn't look good, but aspiring to something like this versus Chris Bumstead is more realistic. And speaking of realistic, that's what we're shooting for with this CamFit VIP competition that I'm putting on. So again, check that out in the description if you're interested in getting into bodybuilding at all. You're gonna have to get leaner for this for the show, but you're not gonna have to be jacked up, roided out to win. It's actually designed to discourage being overly huge and taking drugs and being on the natural side of things.
CrossFit, I'd never done it before. And I just really loved the kind of competitive edge of it, setting goals, trying to beat your personal best. I really enjoyed that, and we got very fit for that job.
I've never done CrossFit either, but the whole camaraderie part of it is definitely a good thing. If you're not someone that's self-motivated, like I have a gym in my garage. I track everything I do as far as working out, so I have something to shoot for, and I have a goal to try to beat every time I work out. Most people I see just go into the gym, it just looks like they're doing random stuff, not really pushing that hard when they're training. When you're in a setting like CrossFit and you got to do certain things within a certain amount of time and you have people around you, that peer pressure can help and give you the motivation to push hard. So if that's something that's useful for you, go for it. But you know, if you're just self-motivated to hit your own goals, having a partner helps, as long as it's not one of those situations where if your partner decides not to come, you're just gonna be like, oh, I don't want to work out alone, I'm not gonna do it either. Keep that motivation, push towards your goals.
The hardest thing I've done in terms of dieting for a role is somewhat a contradiction to what I've been saying throughout this interview, but I cut as much weight as I could for a film called Cherry, trying to keep below 500 calories a day.
I wouldn't go for a diet under 500 calories, which I think He's kind of short. I mean, I would be surprised if he's more than like 135 pounds. He doesn't look like a big dude, so he already is probably not really eating more than 2,000 calories for a daily diet, whereas like for me, I'm eating around 3,000 a day just to maintain where I am, around 185, 5'11". So if you have a lower calorie diet, I mean, yeah, he might be in like a 1,200 calorie deficit or something like that, 1,500 at the most, doing that, which is 3 pounds a week, which is pretty extreme. You don't want to lose more than 1% of your body weight per week at the most if you're wanting to maintain as much muscle as you can. Ideally not more than a pound a week, really, because then you'll stay sane. You'll start going crazy if you do high deficits for a long time. So if you don't want to be losing muscle, don't do a 500 calorie daily limit.
I've kind of vowed to myself now that I'll never do that again, just because it's not worth it, and it can actually promote quite considerable health concerns down the line. So I wouldn't do that again.
Physical and mental health is what that'll lead to.
There's a whole bunch of different things, really. The thing I've been cooking the most, because it's a really easy thing to like batch cook, and it's also really good for me with what I'm trying to do right now, is I do a chili but with lentils rather than a mince. It's very flavorful, it's really tasty, it's healthy, and it's ultimately full of all the things that I need.
Do you like lentils? Lentil soup?
So that's kind of
Let me know
what I'm doing right now. My favorite carb is potatoes. I absolutely love potatoes. I'll have a potato in any form it comes.
Except for In-N-Out Burger, right? Because they taste like cardboard?
I love them. I absolutely love them. My favorite protein would either be cod or chicken.
He probably likes cod and chicken because those are very lean meats. When it comes to calories, again, you got 4 calories per gram of protein, 9 per gram of fat. So if you're eating salmon as opposed to cod, there's a lot more fat in salmon. And again, he's a small guy. He's got a lower daily calorie need. So having cod, you can have a greater volume of fish and get a lot more protein in that volume that you have. Same with chicken. If you're eating chicken breast, they showed, the chicken legs or thighs in the picture, but who knows what kind he's having. But leaner meats are your friend if you're trying to diet or just stay lean in general.
And chicken, in a whole plethora of different ways. Stir fries, roasts, all that sort of stuff.
So there it is, Tom Holland. He seems like a pretty genuine guy. I mean, has a reasonable diet, makes sense, has a physique that you could aspire to look like. He's not overly jacked, he's lean enough, you see abs, he's defined, and looks good. So hopefully those diet tips helped you out and something you could aspire to as a natural athlete. But hit that like button if you like this video, comment down below with what you think of his diet, with my diet. If you have any questions about diet or about the competition in general that I was talking about, again, links are in the description. You can find out everything you need to know there to win cash prizes. It's gonna be really cool, a whole new format where it's more of a bracket style system where you have a live audience judging you, and then that leads to the final round where Greg Doucette's gonna be judging as well. But questions for any of that, let me know down below, and I'll see y'all soon.